Hello, folks. Welcome to the Cluster API Release Team, our weekly status meeting. It's the 23rd of April. We are a subproject of SIG Cluster Lifecycle, and so we stick to their rules of conduct, which basically we can summarize as let's make this a welcoming place and try not to talk over each other. With that having said, you can add your name to the attendees list here if you choose to do so, and let's move on to the agenda. CI team, Chris, do you have any updates, anything to note?
Nothing to note. We just pulled out all the release 1.7 tasks, so I guess that's something to note. Um,
Oh, yeah.
yeah. And other than that, yeah, everything looks okay.
And I saw that Sepida has a PR out there to formally put that into the release docs. That,
Yeah.
yeah. So that should merge soon because this time it was a bit of a last minute remembering to do that. Cool. And then comms team, Shandon, do you have anything to add?
No, all good. I'm just writing the message to post the announcement.
Oh, great. And as far as the release tasks here, I think we are clear. Whoops. Up through, well, this one hasn't merged yet for some reason, but it will soon. We're supposed to have a release retrospective. I figured we could just do that at this time next Wednesday, unless you think maybe we need more time, um, or a different time. What do you guys think? I don't want to. I don't want to spend forever, but I think there's definitely some lessons learned or things we should talk about in terms of like keeping people energized and in the loop. And you think that would work next week, or should we set up
Works
a
for me.
separate meeting? Yeah.
Yeah, works for me too.
Yeah, good for next week. Yeah.
Okay, great. I will just make it clear that next week's release meeting, which is probably the last one we all ought to have, will just be the retro on what we did and how we can do it better next time.
Well, and
I
then we
think,
immediately start the next cycle's meetings
yeah.
the next week, right?
Well, I mean, maybe we actually want, maybe there's a 111 release team meeting next week. I don't know. It seems a little premature, but I'm not sure.
Well, not if we're using the same time, I think.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Well, do you think that would work? Also, a half an hour isn't really that long for a retro because ideally
That's true.
you let people just freewheel and give any feedback they have. On the other hand, it's probably just the several of us who will show up and
The idea that we can get a lot of people and schedule this in a week.
yeah, that also sounds tricky, which is why I wanted to just reuse this time slot because I know at least some of us will be able to be here. Uh, okay, well, let's try to do that, and I'll come at least with my ideas about retro stuff, so we don't, maybe we can get it done in a half an hour, and if not, we can schedule a separate one. Sound good?
Yeah, sounds good.
Yeah.
All right. Um, and then in terms of outstanding work to do, there's just next week, maybe there's a patch release, and it's said tentatively because, maybe we don't actually cherry pick anything. And so that waits a week or two. But typically, we find some bugs at this point that we shouldn't have gone into the release, and we hurry up and fix them, and there'll be a patch release next week. So that we can plan on that. And I think that's it. There's a follow-up task after Kubernetes 133 comes out another week or two, but we can do that asynchronously. So pretty much the board is clear. Good job, everybody. Um, and then we check the improvement board real quick here. Does anybody have any updates on this?
No, but I still have to create the task for that we discuss about the release notes. Probably I will put that
Oh, right.
before next release.
Okay, cool.
Yeah, I have it in my list.
Great. Um, does anybody have anything else they want to talk about? Sounds like a no. All right, cool. Thanks for showing up, everybody. We will see you next week for the retro at this time.
Right. Thanks everybody. Have a good day.
Thanks, Matt.
You too. Bye.
Thanks, everyone.
Hi, guys.